Our daily Bible reading and devotional for May 28th. Our reading today comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 13. We'll be reading verses 18 through 38. I'm not speaking of all of you. I know whom I have chosen. But the scripture will be fulfilled. He who ate my bread has lifted his heel against me. I am telling you this now, before it takes place, that when it does take place, you may believe that I am he. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever receives the one I send receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. After saying these things, Jesus was troubled in his spirit and testified, Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he spoke. One of his disciples, whom Jesus loved, was reclining at table at Jesus' side. So Simon Peter motioned him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So that disciple, leaning back against Jesus, said to him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, It is he to whom I will give this morsel of bread when I have dipped it. So when he had dipped the morsel, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. Then after he had taken the morsel, Satan entered into him. Jesus said to him, What you are going to do, do quickly. Now no one at the table knew why he said this to him. Some thought that because Judas had the money bag, Jesus was telling him, Buy what we need for the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the morsel of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. When he had gone out, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him at once. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. You will seek me, and just as I said to the Jews, so now I also say to you, Where I am going, you cannot come. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus answered him, Where I am going, you cannot follow me now, but you will follow afterward. Peter said to him, Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for you. Jesus answered, Will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, the rooster will not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Now some thoughts for today. There are easy and predictable ways that we can readily recognize cultural differences in people. An accent is one way. Sometimes the mode of dress can give away what a person values in their life. It may be the way in which a person carries themselves. Do they shuffle along? Do they slouch when they walk or sit? It's not a sure way by any means to use these exclusively, but they are often indicators nonetheless. We're prone to using such things to judge others. By judging, it is not meant necessarily in a negative light, but one in which we may make discretionary decisions. Employers are often called upon to make such calls when hiring someone to fill a position. Right or wrong, the impression one makes on first meeting is often the one that sticks in the minds of others. Jesus tells his disciples that when they love one another, this will be what will be the badge, so to speak, that others will identify them. When you think of it, this really will set apart many in the world today. When we set apart our differences and dislikes and focus on the love we ought to show one another, it will indeed be a remarkable action the world will take note of. Paul reminds the churches in Galatia of what can happen if this commandment is denied. We find in Galatians 5:14 and 16, For the whole law is fulfilled in one word, in the statement, You shall love your neighbor as yourself. But if you bite and devour one another, take care lest you be consumed by one another. Imagine the shadow that biting and devouring casts upon those who have been redeemed. What must the world think when we let our petty differences divide us? Paul the Apostle dealt with many such differences throughout the church, as divisions formed over who they followed, those who were circumcised and not, and the power struggles that naturally formed. All of these, Jesus hoped the disciples then and now would overlook in love, and thus being the message the world would see first and foremost: people living in harmony. And a question to consider this day: have you let small things stand in the way of love for your brothers and sisters? And finally, a thought to meditate today: find a way to promote love among the brethren today. Those are our thoughts for May 28th.